Yeah, obviously not the ideal start for the team, but I think one thing that makes us really good is our ability to bounce back. We obviously start series quite slowly and build it up from there. And who knows, it's all to play for in this last test match. Hopefully we can salvage the draw, which is as good as winning in a subcontinent. It's really tough conditions that we're not exposed to, but we're obviously looking forward to the challenge that lies ahead. Yeah, I think for me it was more a lack of match practice that I obviously missed the warm-up game due to my illness. But I think the first innings obviously made me aware that, hey, listen, you need to actually step up for the second innings. Just obviously watching from how the way their spinners bowled as well, and then I've sort of found my rhythm in the second innings. Yeah, obviously there's no substitute for hard work. The boys have really put in a lot of hard work building up to this test series, and obviously when we arrived in Sri Lanka in preparations for this test. But unfortunately we missed a day of practice today due to the weather. But for the next 2 days before the second test, we're going to be working as hard and obviously trying to correct our errors but build on the positives from the previous match. So for me personally, I just like to bowl excessively. I think the more I bowl, the better it becomes. I think a spinner, the feel of the ball in his hand is really important, and sort of stick to the simple things that have sort of worked for me over the past few years and sort of replicate it and build it from there. Well, obviously your length is a little bit fuller than what you're exposed to back home because of the nature of the wickets being a little bit slower. For me, I just try and get the shape on my ball because then it tells me an indication of how I'm bowling and how my rhythm is feeling, and I think I got that back to my best in the second innings. The first innings my ball was quite flattish. I didn't try bowl it like that, it just came out that way, but like I said, I rectified it. Every morning I was here bowling early to try and get those overs under the belt to sort of get the feel back in my hand. Obviously you can't train as hard as you would back home. I think when I toured India 3-4 years ago, I ended up with heat stroke because I didn't know when to stop training. I think it's my biggest issue. But I think it's just important how you manage yourself and the way you think about your plans and obviously your key points of interest going forward in terms of executing your skill. I mean, back home you have to take a little bit more time to get in. Here you have to be on the ball from the start and not allow the batsman to settle. Yeah, I think there's many ways to improvise. Sometimes a break could actually be something that you need and just have a bit of a refreshment of the mind. And I know for me personally, the day before the test, I was bowling with Hendo in the corridor because I just wanted to feel the ball in my hand. It was quite funny because it's something I've never done. But like I said, you always make a plan when you need to sort of make up for the time that you're going to lose due to the weather. Firstly, I never thought I'd be playing Test cricket, but yeah, it's gone by really quickly. I can remember on the 3rd of November 2016, I debuted in Perth, and I never looked back since. It's something that I really want to be a part of. I love being here and sort of trying to contribute to the team, and hopefully I can aid the team into becoming the #1 Test team in the world one day. It's a place every youngster dreams of coming, and trust me, once you get a taste of being here, you never want to leave this team. Yeah, it's obviously difficult. Sometimes you don't have your loved ones with you, but luckily enough, there are periods in the tour where your loved ones do come across. We sort of have a good relationship with the boys, and you form bonds and brotherhoods amongst each other, and you're always chilling, enjoying each other's company. I know for me personally, I like to catch up on sleep and do my physical activity, my physical work, and just keeping my body as conditioned as possible for those long, hot, strenuous hours in the sun. I'm actually far from a gamer, to be honest. I just enjoy good company. I'm on my phone a lot, speaking to loved ones back home and things like that. It's just nice to sort of bridge that gap when you do miss someone. And obviously catching up with my family, my niece and nephew, I love video calling them every time. It just keeps that little, like I said, bridges the gap where you sort of miss the close ones dearest to you. Well, the boys were on the rooftop watching the tennis to start supporting Kevin Anderson, and then sort of switched the telly to the soccer. So we were on the top enjoying each other's company. I think probably 90% of the team were there, so we had a good sort of team vibe going about, having some dinner and just chilling and enjoying each other's company. I know Croatia were the underdogs and everyone was rooting for them, but take nothing away from the way France have played during this World Cup. Yeah, I think the most glaring thing is that we saw a Croatian side with a few big names just sort of play unbelievable soccer and show that togetherness throughout the competition to reach the final. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way, but I think they're winners in their own way to obviously come to the stage that they have become. And France showed with quality in your side, and once quality clicks, what can happen? I mean, Mbappe and Pogba, and they just showed why they were some of the world's best soccer players. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's prepared. Obviously, I'm not sure what's the weather conditions in Colombo right now, but I probably expect a similar pitch to what we had in Galle, which is nice. As the game got on, obviously the wicket deteriorated, but it was a good wicket in the first 3 innings. I'd say I don't see an issue with it. I think we're going to see a different South African side in terms of how we go about our business and obviously show our bounce back ability. I think there's a lot of pressure that's being put from the outside, from obviously Pia, and sometimes you do put pressure on yourself, but I think I sort of blocked it out, and my main focus is to put the ball in the right area, and whatever happens from there I've got no control over. So if it does go my way, it does. If it doesn't, as long as I'm doing the right things, putting the right ingredients in the pot to bear the broth of my amazing stew, call it. But yeah, like I said, just trying to do the right things all the time, and whatever is in God's hands from there on in.